Hello and welcome to the 5 things that every skateboarder must have. These are the 5 essential things. Starting off at number 1, I've already got it in my hand, so we'll just start here. This is just an enough skateboards skate tool. Now you can get them from pretty much any local shop, I expect. Online, you've got Skate Hut, which they do generic stuff. But because my first skateboard deck was enough, I thought it's a bit fitting to get same branded skate tool. So what a skate tool is for your skateboard. Just grab my quick. And I set up this deck yesterday, and the grip tape's really grippy because it's new. I grip tape my first 3 fingers, and they're all really painful when I touch it. The grip tape, that is. So skate tool, you've got all these fittings on it. So you've got two big, I don't know how to say this without sounding weird, 2 big fixtures. I don't know, I can't think of the word right now. 2 big fixtures on the end of the T. So you've got a big one on the left, slightly smaller one on the right, and then there's one on the bottom of the T. You will do different things for your skateboard. So basically, to fix your skateboard, all you need is one of these and the parts you need to put on. So this one at the bottom goes right there on the truck bolts here. So just these ones underneath the trucks that fix onto the deck via these screws, or Allen bolts as I've got. So that's the bottom of the T, the T tool. The one on, as you're looking at it with the graphic, the one on the right is for your wheel nuts. So on the end of the truck, just next to your wheels, you'll have a nut here, and this one's for that. You can loosen and tighten them. Personally, if you do think, oh good, I'll tighten my wheels because they sound really weird, don't, because they need to be a little bit loose so they can freely roll. It's not a good roll. I need new bearings. Then this one on the left, the biggest one, is for your kingpin on the trucks. And that fits there, and you can loosen and tighten it. And it's the same for all trucks and mainly all boards. I guess sometimes if you've got a certain board, you might not have the same standardized fittings and fixtures, so this might not work with it, but that's not something I've heard of. It's definitely not something I've come across. So you should be fine to fix your skateboard with the parts and one of these. You don't need any other tools basically. Something I haven't talked about is in the top here, you've got a little screwdriver tool. So as I said, you've got screws here, and then on the back, on the underneath, you've got your bolts that fix your trucks to your deck. So you can use your skate tool here. Your skate tool here. Why are my hands all tangled up? To hold the bolt, and get it right there. You hold the bolt like that, and then personally I use Allen key bolts, so I'll be using the Allen key section. But this has 2 sides. You got your Allen key here, and then your screwdriver bit there. So you can just wrong screw and just tighten and loosen them there by I'd recommend holding it with this hand instead of loosening, because it's easier to turn with your skate tool. So that's for putting on your screws. So this skate tool is the number 1 on the list, and it's no particular order. It's not like most helpful to least helpful. It's just what random order of the 5 things that I will use the most while skateboarding. So that was number 1. Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be enough, but mine is an enough skateboard tool. You can get them where the bottom bit of the T is slightly longer, which means you can get to more difficult trucks. If the actual truck is over the top of where the bolts need to be, then you can't quite get to them sometimes with one of these. So far I've had no issues. Moving on to number 2. Now, sticking with the theme of actual hardware for your skateboard, we're going to talk about wheels. Now, this doesn't necessarily apply to everyone, because some people have been skateboarding for a while and they'll already know this. But if you haven't been skateboarding for a while, or you use a complete board, or you just bought a complete board, so just making sure my monitors don't go off, then buying a second pair of bearings more than wheels Sometimes wheels if it's a bad complete. So I'd say if you bought a complete from, like, if you're in America, Zoomies or, you know, at Walmart, or a Walmart board, you'd definitely need new wheels and most likely an entire new skateboard. They're awful, don't buy one. But if you're here in the UK, you don't really get Walmart boards, but you can get some just generic Amazon boards, you know, someone's just put wheels on a bit of wood basically, and there's no thought of how to skate it, and they'll come with plastic wheels. So I do generally say to beginner skateboarders, if they've got a decent deck and trucks, but they've got plastic wheels, then it's definitely worth getting a pair of normal skateboard wheels. And even if you bought like a £60-70 complete and it comes with regular wheels, most likely your bearings aren't going to be brilliant. So I'd usually recommend some Bones, Reds, or, you know, anything. Something not too expensive. Some people could be paying £80 for some bearings, and it's just not worth it in my opinion. I paid not for these wheels came with my first complete board, which was an enough. It was the Geo School, and these bearings aren't brilliant, but I paid for my bearings that are in there. I paid something like 20 quid for all four. All eight, sorry. So, you know, you don't have to spend a ton of money on bearings, but it's just something you probably will need to upgrade if you've bought a complete. Some people, such as myself, just build skateboards now from parts they've previously owned. From my original skateboard, that deck, that setup there has nothing which has been previously ridden. So, as in, like, you know, I've never had all of this stuff all on the same board. So it's technically the same skateboard, but it's just had, you know, new deck, new grip tape, new wheels, everything. So I built it from the ground up, is what I'm saying. So it didn't come with anything. I bought everything separately and put it together. So I £20 for the wheel, for the bearings, all eight, and then about £35 for the wheels. 45 maybe, I think. Between £30 and £40 is usually about average for some decent wheels. Some people pay a little bit more, maybe 50, 60 quid, which is understandable, but I just ride street a lot, so I guess if I rode park I'd probably have to replace them less because they're not, you know, they're on a smooth surface. But riding streets never caused much of an issue for running downhill wheels. I had those for about 2, maybe 3 months, those wheels now, and they're still at 53mm instead of, you know, being run. These were 54s and now they're about 52 or 51s. So they're not run down that much, but I was upgrading my board anyway. Some people like to go from a 54 to like a 40, which is ridiculous, but some people just keep the wheels for ages and ages. So I probably will do that with these, but definitely number 2 is aftermarket bearings and wheels. Moving on to number 3. Now, in keep with the wheels and the deck and, you know, actual skating hardware, we briefly touched on these. Your trucks. Now, these are my original trucks from my complete board, and they're decent. They're all right. It's not like a plastic truck or a really thin, really bad truck. They're not quite as wide as the ones I'm running now, but I've learnt to find sizes and things after I bought my complete and started making my own, putting together my own boards. So that's something you learn with size. You can't really find a complete which all the specs are perfect for you. Yeah, I'm sure you can if you're, just a generic rider. You get an 8.5 board and, I don't know, a generic size of trucks. I'm sure you'll be able to do that. But the main thing about stock trucks is the bushings, and the bushings won't be brilliant. So the bushings were not very good at this. Usually when you get your deck and you've ridden it, you get your board and you've ridden it for about a week or two, your bushings start to get dirty and then you squeak. And that's no big deal because it doesn't affect the ride that much, but it can annoy people. Now with quality bushings it can still happen, it doesn't happen as much, but these are just enough trucks. I don't know if you can buy these on their own or you have to buy the complete to get these, but I bought some fracture trucks over there on my setup right now. And after about, as I said, I set up that board yesterday because I got the deck. I was running another deck until the other day with the same trucks and wheels. I had those wheels for a week or two riding, and there's still no play in them. But definitely don't just cast aside your trucks. You need to make sure your trucks are very important because they determine how the board feels when you turn, and stock trucks can feel brilliant for some people, but personally I prefer some aftermarket ones, ones that you can just customise, I guess. I quite like customization in skateboarding, but also these generic plain silver ones look alright sometimes in certain completes, but you're not just buying them for a certain look, you're buying them because of how they feel. So those are slightly wider, as I said earlier, and they've got quality bushing that's a lot more expensive than these were. So that's point number 3, aftermarket bushings and or trucks. You don't have to, you can buy bushings on their own, you can replace parts of your truck, but I guess buying a whole new truck might make it easy for some people if they don't want to take apart their trucks. Moving on to number 4. Now we're not quite on the theme of actual skateboarding hardware, so stuff you use to skate with, so not wheels not things you can put on your skateboard, but things you can put on yourself that will protect you from pretty much anything. Obviously these won't protect your elbows because they're knee pads, but still these are the only ones I could find near me. I do have a helmet somewhere, I think it might be downstairs, but just get these apart real quick. Very sticky Velcro. So these are a pair of harsh knee pads that I just bought from a local skate park once, and you can use these for biking or scooter riding, but mostly they're just a bit of padding. They don't look brilliant, as some people would say, but that depends on which ones you get. Personally, I think these look alright. They've definitely saved my knees a couple of times from knee slides at the skate park. If you bail, if you're going up a vert ramp and I don't know, not that I can go up a vert ramp and do anything on a vert, but some people might, I don't know, just go up a quarter pipe, try and air it, and they bail, or they try an early grab, or something like judo air, and they can't make it, so they don't stick the landing and they slide onto the knees. Without knee pads, that would just wreck your trousers and most likely burn up your knees with carpet burns and concrete burns. I don't know really what to call it. Is it a concrete burn, or is it a concrete burn, or is it a carpet burn? Leave it in the comments below. So number 4, not just knee pads, padding of any type, just protection in general will definitely help for any circumstances, even street riding. I usually wear a helmet when I go to ride a spot. If it's a flat ground spot I won't, or if it's a curb, but if there's stairs, drops or rails, something slightly higher that you can definitely damage yourself from, I'll usually wear a helmet. I only ever wear pads when I go to a skate park, just because, it depends what skate park. If it's like a mellow bank, no quarter skate park, then I most likely would just stick to a helmet or just cap maybe. But if it's big and quarter pipes, a lot of bowls everywhere, things you can go high on and hurt yourself from, definitely wear pads. And I encourage new skaters to wear a helmet at all times. You don't have to wear pads if you don't want to. They're more optional than a helmet is. They're definitely recommended by me and so many others. Check Aaron Cairo, he'll tell you to wear these, but definitely wear padding or helmets when you're first time at skate park. Moving on to the last thing, number 5, definitely not the least though. So number 5 is a skate bag. Now this isn't actually a skate bag, it's not something you can search into Amazon or Rollersnake, any skate site and actually find this particular bag, because it's not designed for skateboarders. It's just a generic backpack, rucksack, whatever you want to call it. But the main thing, there was a hair that's part of the bag. The main thing you'll need a bag for is carrying camera gear if you're recording some clips, a water bottle, any drinks, not just a water bottle. I'm not a, you know, a healthy guy sometimes. So, you know, you carry your food and your drink, I guess. Skate wax, you don't want to have that in your pocket if it's a hot day, and even if it's a cold day, it kind of still waxes your pocket. It's not very nice. And also, if you've got a big chunk of it, then it's not very comfortable to have it in your pack in your pocket. So having a backpack definitely helps this situation. It cleans up your setup anyway, you know, your cockpit, what you might say. You've got only your phone or your skates all in your pocket, and then everything else on your back. You don't have to hold things or carry things or put things down in the spot, just a bag. So what I usually have in my bag is, if I'm at a street spot and I'm just on the flat ground or just ride into a big one, as I say, rails, drops or stairs or something like that you can hurt yourself from, I usually put my helmet or some pads, depending if it's a skate park or not, in this bag. I'll have, so helmet, pads, a water bottle, because I quite like water actually, I don't know why. Sometimes a snack if it's a long session, and some skate wax. Now this is kind of 3 things tied with number 5. The 5th thing is a portable charger, and I haven't got one to hand. It's somewhere in those drawers. I'll find it for next video, for next session, so I can definitely use it. It's very, very helpful, especially if you're on a long day and you've been recording clips on your iPhone or any phone for that matter. It doesn't really matter. But I guess it matters for connections and chargers, but that's besides the point. You need a portable charger for a long session, because by the start of it, you're on 100%. You filmed a bunch of clips, and you've been out 6 or 7 hours, and you've been filming clips for 3 of them. Your phone will be dying by the end of it. And if you're with a bunch of people and none of their phones work, or one of them's got a portable charger, then you'll be fighting for it. So definitely bring your own portable charger. They're not too expensive. You can get one like Anchor off Amazon. They do really good ones. And then the other thing, number 5, is tied with a skate bag and a portable charger, is, now as I said, I do keep this in here. It's come out of the wrapper. Skate wax. Oh, it smells so good. So this is just some Fox wax. I believe it's like bubblegum cherry or something like that. It's really easy to use. It just fits in your palm like that. Scrape it on curb or rail or anything you want. Even your trucks, you don't have to do that, but if you wax your trucks, sometimes you can avoid waxing things that people might slip on, such as, you know, there's a smallish curb at the bottom of a big, you know, those stairs that are more like curbs that just kind of gradually go up. Those, the edges, instead of waxing them, if people are walking down them and not trip, maybe it might not work. It doesn't tend to work for me, but sometimes I guess it might work for other people. If you wax, I don't know, if you're doing a lip slide or a tail slide or something, wax your deck, that can work instead of waxing stuff. But it's definitely worth having. So technically that was number 7, but it's easier to call it top 5 essential things for skateboarding. So that's tied with the bag and portable charger. So just run through it again. Number 1, skate tool, £4 or £5 from anywhere. I wouldn't recommend getting anything skateboard related from Amazon, but maybe a bag or some pads, because bags and pads are more generic, whereas Amazon, if you're looking for certain trucks or a skate tool or even a deck, a complete board, then it's less specific because they're not skaters, if you know what I mean. So it's just people who have found income from Chinese or third world countries with just a bit of wood and wheels. So definitely avoid buying skateboard stuff from Amazon or Walmart, depending where you are in the world. Don't get it from a supermarket or an online store that isn't a skate store. So I personally recommend Slam City Skates, Skate Hut I guess, Roller Snakes, and basically any other site you can find. But as I said, £4 or £5 off online, maybe cheaper in a local skate shop, maybe more expensive, it depends on where you are. What am I doing? That doesn't go in there. A bag, this cost me about £30 off like well, Reebok or Nike or Adidas, so anywhere. So overall, to be a skateboarder, there will be a certain price tag, but not including the skateboard, you're looking to spend about £90 altogether on everything else, and that's including the wax, this skate tool, portable charger, a bag, aftermarket wheels and bearings, pads, and some trucks. Might be a little bit more depending on what sort of trucks or what sort of wheels or bearings. If you're going for the bare minimum, you can probably work it down to about £60. Why do I keep putting that skate tool in this bag? It doesn't go in there. So yeah, £4 or £5 for this, £30 for the bag. It was about a £5 for the skate wax. Usually about £15 to £20 for a portable charger, one that's gonna be alright. You can get one for 30 as well. That'll last you days without a charge. Wheels and bearings, as I said, altogether 50 quid maybe. So far we're at 70 quid, 90 quid I think maybe. Not been keeping track. So yeah, thereabouts. You don't have to do everything, but you can buy things. So I hope you enjoyed this first episode of Essentials. Might do some more. I hope to see you in the next video. Please consider liking and subscribing this video. Can't get my words out. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to this channel if you like, this type of content. I don't just do essential stuff for skateboarding. There was going to be a skateboard edit at the end of this, or a PIV session or something, but it's chucking it down outside. It's raining so heavily that I was pretty much set foot outside with my board, about to go off another session and skateboard session, and the heavens opened. It just chucked it down in rain. So I was kind of rained off that edit. I might put one in the end if it dries up in a couple of days, but I don't like leaving videos unedited and unfinished, so you might not get one. I will be sure to upload an edit just on its own at some point. But yeah, like and subscribe if you like this channel and the content we're doing. This is the first video, so I'm going to call this episode 1. I prefer calling them episodes, don't know why. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video.